Hello.
Yes.
Hello, you can hear me? Okay. নলিনীবালা দেবীর লেখা ভারত ভূমি পড়া একখানি মাঠ। সেইদিনা পৃথিৱীৰ প্ৰথম পুৱাৰ সুৰঞ্জিত উষা পোহৰত ভাৰতে চিঞৰি কলে, শুনা বিশ্ববাসী, তুমি অমৃতৰ পুত্ৰ, তোমাৰ বিনাশ নাই, তুমি অমৰ, তোমাৰ জীৱন সত্য, শাশ্বত, সুন্দৰ। এই পৃথিৱীৰ বিধাতাৰ শ্ৰেষ্ঠ সৃষ্টি তুমি। প্ৰগতিশীল পটভূমি আছে আমাৰ ভাষাৰ গৌৰৱ। শব্দৰ ঝংকাৰত সঁহাৰি দিয়া আমাৰ সংস্কৃতিৰ প্ৰাঞ্জল ভাষা, আমাৰ অদম্য হেঁপাহ, আমাৰ অদম্য গৌৰৱ। নমস্কাৰ, সুপ্ৰভাত, সকলোকে জনাই মোৰ আন্তৰিক স্নেহ আৰু শ্ৰদ্ধা। আজি এছিয়ান লিটাৰেৰী সোসাইটি ইনগ্ৰেট কৰিছে ভাষাৰ সেকেন্ড চেপ্টাৰ। থুৰতে কওঁ, এই বছৰত আমাৰ তালিকাত আছে অসমীয়া ভাষা, কলা, সাহিত্য আৰু সংস্কৃতি। Welcome viewers, a very good morning to all. Asian Literary Society inaugurates the second chapter of BHAASHA. This year we are celebrating Assamese art, language, literature and culture. Assamese or Okhomia is an Eastern Indo-Aryan language evolved in the 7th century AD, having its roots from the Sanskrit language. Okhomia is the state language of Assam and is mostly spoken in their areas along the Brahmaputra Valley. Assamese is spoken by 15 to 20 million people and is widely used in the northeastern states of India. This is a brief account on Okhomia Bhakha. Now, I, along with the founder of Asian Literary Society, Mr. Manoj Krishnan, and Team ALS, warmly invite in the prestigious forum of Asian Literary Society our distinguished guest and eminent writer, Sahitya Akademi Awardee, Arupa Kalita Patangia, to inaugurate the event. I would like to introduce my viewers to the eminent writer. Arupa Kalita Patangia is an Indian novelist and short story writer. She is well acclaimed for her fiction writing in Assamese. She is a recipient of several literary awards, the Bharatiya Bhasha Parishad Award, the Katha Prize, the Prabina Saikia Award, and Assam Valley Literary Award. In 2014, she received the prestigious Sahitya Akademi Award for her short stories book named Mariam, Othoba, Hira, Barua. Her books have been translated into English, Hindi, and Bengali. Her works touch upon Assamese history and culture, addressing the lives of people from middle and lower income brackets, and focus specifically on concerns of women, violence, and insurgency. She has more than 10 novels to her credit, like Mriganabi, Oyononto, Millenniumar Hokul, Murubhumit Meka, Aru Onnyanno, Koitot Ketuki, Rongamatir Pahartu, Felangi, etc. She has also written dialogues for the critically acclaimed Assamese feature film Katha Nodi, that is the River of Fables. Today, in her inaugural speech, eminent writer Arupa Kalita Patangia will speak on the rich heritage and evolution of Assamese literature. Welcome, ma'am. The stage is yours.
Yes. Greetings to all of you. Welcome everyone to the second chapter of BHAASHA series 2020. This second chapter is celebrating the art, culture, and literature of Assam. We are thankful to Asian Literary Society and Journal of Asian Art, Culture and Literature. We are really grateful. I am highly honored to have the chance to speak a few words about art, culture and literature of Assam. My efforts will be like trying to insert an elephant into a small pot. So there is an Assamese phrase, hati mari bhurukat bhorua. That means to kill an elephant and trying to insert it into a small pot. I am going to do this. Assamese literature and culture have a glorious heritage of approximately 700 years old. The heritage is ancient as well as exceptionally rich and colorful. The literary heritage of Assam can be traced back to 9th to 10th century in Sajjapada, where earliest elements of language can be discerned. History of Assamese literature can be roughly divided into three parts. Ancient era, 950 to 1300, medieval era, 1300 to 1826, modern era, 1826 to the present. This is a very rough division. So first of all, I want to discuss about the pre-Sankardeva period. It is 1300 to 1490. This period is known for translation, adaptation, and choral song. Madhav Kandali's Saptakanda Ramayan is the first rendition of Ramayan into an Indo-Aryan language in Indian. Shankaradev addressed him as Apramadi Kavi. That means unerring predecessor poet. Yes, he was. Choral songs are mostly derived from the stories of Mahabharata and legends of Manasha Devi, the goddess of snake. Shankardeva, the pioneer of Neo-Vaishnavite movement, with high ideals, varied form and content, and versatile scholarship, elegant expression, aiming profound religious reform, cast the Assamese society and socio-cultural life in the present mold. He was a gifted writer. He gave Assam raga-oriented songs known as Borgit. That means songs of high order. Dramas known as Onkya Bhauna of high literary value. And chanting, Satriya dance form, art of mass making, tradition of painting, literary language called Brajavali. He was the pioneer of Neo-Vaishnavite movement in Assam. Though rooted in religion, Shankardeva's works appeal the readers, whatever his fate may be, for the highest literary merit of his works. In his works, colloquial diction is firmly woven into classical. As a result, unlettered common people can memorize his verses. Assamese culture, tradition, and way of life found proper expression in his works. His works are certainly masterpieces of medieval Indian literature and deserves to be widely read. His liberal ideas are the root of the civilized Assamese society. Just let me quote two lines to prove his liberal and democratic attitude. Quote, I say with certainty, the soul of a dog, an ass, and an outcast is none but God. So Shankardeva paved the path of Assamese life, art, and culture. So during the post-Sankari period that extends from 1800 to 1826, literary works other than Neo-Vaishnavite-centric ideas were gaining momentum under the patronage of Ahom king Shiva Singha. Works like translation of Sri Hasta Muktavali on dance and mudras, Hasti Vidyavarna, a treatise on elephant, Ghora Nidan on horse are being produced during this period. The ancient Assamese literature is one of the oldest in the world, and I draw the attention of the learned audience to this often neglected fact. If Assam were geographically and politically situated more favorably, ancient Assamese literature and art would have got its due recognition and given its place of pride in the sphere of world literature. So after a period of eclipse due to Burmese invasion, epidemics, and civil war, there was an eclipse in the history of Assamese literature. Then there came the modern era. There are three distinctive phases in the period. The first period extends from 1826 to 1873, approximately 47 years of the British. So this period was under British rule. And the main feature of this period was quest for Assamese identity in tune with the social changes that took place under the banner of colonial modernism. This is a very crucial period in the history of Assamese literature. Then comes the second phase. It extends from 1874 to 1948. This period saw the consolidation of Assamese language. Both creative and scholarly efforts are being directed to the rehabilitation of Assamese language and culture. Then came the third phase from 1921 to 1948. It shows the great years of nationalistic struggle and the advent of new wave of creativity. So roughly, these are the three periods of modern Assamese literature. Then, what are the agencies of change? So let me discuss the agencies of change. So first I have to name American Baptist missionaries. So first printing press was established in 1836. First periodical in Assamese literature was published in 1846. Name was Orunodoy. Then Assamese English Dictionary was published in 1867. So you see, this Assamese, that is missionary people, they did a lot for the Assamese literature. Then Nathan Brown, he wrote the first Assamese grammar. Then during this period, a great event took place, that is introduction of Assamese as official language. That was really a great event in the history of Assamese literature. So in this period, we have seen the influence of Bengal Renaissance and also struggle for independence. So what are the keynotes of this period? So let me summarize. So keynotes are European Enlightenment, rationalism, scientific temper, secular culture, equality, and women education, particularly women education, liberal opinion, and extended information. So I have summarized only the keynotes. This is the mood of the age. So this period have given us stalwarts and genius like Lokinath Bezborua, Rajanikanta Bordoloi, Hemchandra Goswami, Banikanta Kakoti, Krishnakanta Khondikoi, Jyoti Prasad Agorwala, and others. So, and I want to mention one very important point, that 19th century Assam addressed the woman question with a rare gusto and surely with an emotional fervor. So let me quote one line to prove it. Man and woman, this is from Hemchandra Borua. Man and woman are equal. Hunger, thirst, sleep, intelligence, desire, bodily organs, birth and death in both are all alike. How unjust, therefore, it is to say that only one can have the right and not the other. So here, see, this is the mood of the nation. Now, I want to point out another very important fact in the history of Assamese literature, that is the role of periodicals. Periodicals played a very important role in Assamese literature. So there are a number of periodicals like Bijuli, Junaki, Abahon, Ramdhenu, Jayanti, etc. And all these periodicals played very important roles in shaping Assamese literature. So due to the paucity of time, I cannot discuss it extensively. Just I want to give example of Abahon. It is also a periodical. Abahon was edited by Gyanpith Award winner writer, that is Birendra Kumar Bhattacharya, in 1951. So 1951, the background was newfound exuberance of independence, development in the domain of education, and everything ushered a total new wave. And this new wave, this new domain, gave Assamese literature Biren Bhattacharya, Nabakanta Barua, Umakanta Sarma, Humayun Bargohai, Abdul Malik, Jugesh Das, Mamani Roisam Goswami, Nirupama Bargohai, Jyoti Prasad Agarwala, Nolinimala Devi, Brinchi Barua, and there are many names. So sorry, I cannot include all of them. So we have seen such stalwarts in Assamese literature. So here many names are not included. I regret the omission caused by the paucity of time. Then Assamese literature on the whole is certainly rooted in soil. The essence of Assamese literature is affirmation of life. Again, I want to repeat, affirmation of life. And Assamese literature deals with social reality, posing itself against socio-economic exploitation, injustices against women, and other social evils. So present Assamese literature is proud of having highly honored critics and scholars like Dr. Maheshwar Naik, Dr. Hiren Gohai, poet of high stature as Nabakanta Barua, Nilamani Fukan, Hiren Bhattacharya, dramatist as Arun Sharma, sculptor as Biren Singha, painters like Benu Mishra, Shobha Brahma, and a lot. So I have tried to give you in a very condensed form the history and the glorious heritage of Assamese literature. Now I want to discuss some of the distinctive features of Assamese literature on the whole. And here I want to stress the modern Assamese literature. So there are some distinctive features in Assamese literature. First, I want to name that women writing. So women writing in Assam, it has a glorious heritage. So Assamese literature had woman magazine known as Ghar Jyoti in 1928. Again, I want to repeat, 1928, we had a woman magazine. Educated Assamese women writers started writing in this magazine with an unprecedented gusto. So Padmavati Devi wrote The Tale of Sudharma, a novel, in 1925. Assamese lady wrote a novel in 1925. Then we have Chandraprabha Hoikani, a fierce freedom fighter, and she was an unwed mother. She dared to be an unwed mother. She wrote The Father's Home in 1937. So this is the glorious heritage of women writing. So modern Assamese literature can boast of a large number of women writers. They add multi-layered dimension to Assamese literature. That is one of the most important distinctive feature of Assamese literature. Then another very important distinctive nature of Assamese literature is that it has a local color. It is completely different from other literature. Why? Because in Assamese literature, we can find assimilation of different cultures. So that is rare. So there is different tribes, different people in Assam. The scenario of Assam, it is completely colorful. And here, based on missing tribes, Rajanikanta Bordoloi, known as the Walter Scott of Assamese literature, she wrote Miri Jori. Then, based on the Naga insurgency problem, Biren Bhattacharya wrote Yaruingam. And there are another writer, Yese Dorse Thongsi, he wrote about the life of the Arunachali. He himself is a writer from Arunachal. So there are other tribes like Karbi, Dimasa, Khasi, Rabha, Assamese Sikhs, Adi, etc. And all the Assamese modern writers, they derive their creativity from these colorful people. And lends really multidimensional and multi-layered color to Assamese literature. This is a rare phenomena in the history of world literature, assimilation of different cultures. Then they come to the recent period. So with a heavy heart, I want to say you, Assam has not seen prolonged period of peace for last 40 years. There was violence, state terrorism, and time was very unkind to us. And we, the writers, we have to face this critical period. And you see, this critical period, this tumultuous period, influenced Assamese literature in a great manner. So due to this impact of this unkind time, we can get a completely different genre of literature. It is completely different genres due to the influence of this tumultuous time. If you read it, you can see how time was cruel for us. Then Assamese writers, while dealing with social reality, they assume the role of chroniclers of time and history. Then there is a literature of protest also. If they become the chronicle of history, they are bound to reproduce some literature of protest. So translations are abundant in modern Assamese literature. So read Assamese literature, modern Assamese literature, you will be astonished to find real works of great literature. Now come to our language. Assamese language, it is powerful, lucid, sweet, and capable of expressing both emotional and intellectual concepts and nuances. It is a fact that it is fast in incorporating modern technologies that might have come up with advancement of modern civilization. Assamese language has freshly borrowed from other languages and also created new words to express new ideas and evolving human consciousness. So Assamese language, it is fast, developing, and incorporates modern terminologies. Now Assamese literature, it becomes a very rich language. So to conclude, I want to claim that with some acquaintances with great works of world literature, I may reasonably claim that a large body of Assamese literature may be placed along with them. I would request translators and publishers to pay more attention to this unexplored terrain of great literature. So, and readers also do come and read our literature. You will be benefited by it. And I claim you will be astonished and surprised to find such a rich work of literature. So, I am a humble writer. I'm proud to be an Assamese writer. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak a few words. So actually, I want to discuss it extensively, but due to paucity of time, I can't do it. Still, I have tried to do it again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this enriching, informative speech. Thank you. Friends, stay tuned. Let us celebrate Assamese art, language, literature, and culture. Stay tuned. Be with us. Thank you.